Hi, this is Anita from Reluctant Low Carb Life. In Reluctant Low Carb Life, we'd like to talk a lot about, not just about low carb, even though we're a great believer in the low carb lifestyle, but more than that, we believe in what we call the trifecta of health. And we believe that if you eat this way, you'll naturally start eating healthier, better, and a lot more low carb than you would otherwise. The trifecta of health is about eating foods that are fresh. Fresh foods can be able to help you to also feel full longer. So we believe in freshness, fullness, and fitness. That is our trifecta of health. And one of the things that we talk about here a bit is sugar. And today we want to talk about, are you addicted to sugar? What are some of the signs that you might be addicted to sugar? Unfortunately, in today's world of ultra-processed foods, it is very difficult to not have sugar be in almost all the foods everywhere. If you go out to fast food, you buy a food in a package, the chances are that that food will have sugar in it. So the chances are that you will get sugar in so much of what you eat that you may not even be realizing that they have put sugar in it. That is how prevalent today sugar is in all of our foods. So you might ask yourselves, am I addicted to sugar? The truth is that probably most people in the world today, or many people in the world today, are probably in some way sugar addicts. What is sugar addiction? Sugar it's basically in everything. You might ask yourself, well, are you addicted? Addiction is kind of a strong word. But, researchers are finding more that our brains might react to sugar a lot like they do other substances that are known to be addictive. That's why it's not a joke that we find ourselves craving something sweet on a less than good day. So there's something going on there about the sugar addiction. The sugar addiction starts when we consume sugar. Our body gets a rush. It starts releasing the feel-good hormone, the dopamine. That sweet, sweet dopamine. You feel that dopamine. And so it starts releasing that dopamine. You just feel good. You feel good about yourself. You feel good about the world. Everything feels great. And then, all of a sudden, the sugar goes out of our system and we crash and burn. And we don't feel that anymore. But we want to feel good again. So what do? We reach for the sugar again because, the sugar is going to make us feel good again. And so there it goes, back and forth, back and forth. So how do you know whether or not you're addicted to sugar addiction? How can you identify that? Well, here are some things that you can look at to see whether or not you are addicted to sugar. Well, first of all, do you see this insatiable cravings for sweets creeping up on either you or your family's snack choices? Do you find yourself like, I'm watching TV. I've got to go get something to eat. And then you reach for something that's sugary, has sugar in it. When a body gets the taste for this pleasure, it yearns for more. That's one of the reasons why. Are there mood swings? Do you find yourself sometimes rolling the sugar roller coaster? Do you find yourself going from being very happy or feeling good or that dopamine after you've eaten the sugar to feeling kind of sad and feeling down? And then, you got to eat some sugar again. And I'm going to feel happy again. And so it keeps going on back and forth, back and forth. Do you find yourself ever doing that? Having the crash, the high and the lows of sugar. Then you could be sugar addicted. Do you ever use sugar to give yourself a boost in energy? Maybe you're feeling tired. So, if I just had some sugar, then I'm going to wake up. It's going to make me feel good. Kind of like, you get your caffeine. You get your fix of caffeine. Are you doing the same thing that it gives you some energy? Like, are you drinking a soda or something else that will kind of give you that energy, give you that rush? And then all of a sudden you start feeling tired again. You sort of have that crash again. Are you at the dinner table thinking like, I don't really want to eat this broccoli, but boy, I could sure sit down and eat that whole pint of ice cream. That it could be a sign of having a sugar addiction. You or maybe some of your loved ones. Do you keep stashes of sweets in places? Do you have candy wrappers? Do you hide them in a sock drawer? Do you have them under the couch? Do you have them somewhere that so that they can't be found? Do you hide them away so that you can be able to find that sugar or have that sugar whenever you need it? And then all of a sudden you're like, it's gone. I need to go to the store to get more. So you're willing to go to the store and get something sweet where you're maybe not willing to go to the store and get a head of broccoli. There's lots of impact as to what sugar does to us in our lives. And these are just some of the questions that you could ask yourself and find out, am I addicted to sugar? If you've answered to some of these and you have some of these behaviors, don't worry. Many people in the world today are addicted to sugar and are doing exactly the same thing. But there are some health implications for this. So you might ask yourself, well, what can we do? How can we change this? In today's world, sugar is all around you. And that's why we are great believers. And one thing that you can do is start cooking fresh and eating fresh. Because if you do that, you will not be getting the added sugars that you will find in ultra-processed foods. Most, if not all, ultra-processed foods have salt and sugar in them. It's that salt and sugar which makes it addictive for us. So if the main thing you did was cut out ultra-processed foods, along with the candies in your life and any soft drinks, you would already there be cutting out a huge amount of sugar in your life. And it should be able to help you to be able to stabilize your blood sugar. If you want to have something sweet, then instead of buying store-bought cookies, make it yourself. Because at least then you know what exactly is in there. You know exactly how much sugar is in there. You can start to find things, eat nuts or other things which don't have sugar on them. You can substitute things such as nuts as a snack instead of the sugar. Find some fresh fruit that you enjoy eating and eat some fresh fruit. Yes, fruit has sugar in it, but it's a natural sugar. Or if not, find your smoothie. Find some kind of protein powder. Find something like that will give you satisfaction, maybe a bit of a sweet tooth, give you some sweets to it that you can be able to satisfy your sweet tooth without having a lot of sugar. We actually really like monk fruit sugar, and we use monk fruit sugar in several things that we make, or we use it to substitute for some recipes that call for sugar. And, so maybe find some sugar substitutes like that is a healthier alternative to the sugars that won't spike your sugar intake as much as some other sugars do. I get it, and I understand that, kicking sugar and a sugar addiction is very real. I know, because I, like many of you out there, suffer from this too. I love sugar. I admit it. I love sugar. I always have. As a young kid on, I've always been someone who's had a great taste for sugar. I also know how difficult it is to give sugar up. But I know that when you do give sugar up, there are a lot of added benefits to it. And I can testify to that. There are added benefits when you do give sugar up. And it will be better for you and for your overall health and well-being. It is very scary when we think of today that it used to be in the past that people only got fatty liver disease if they were an alcoholic. Well, today there is something called a non-fatty liver disease, which is because of our huge intake in sugar. And most of us are on the borderline or starting to suffer or can be suffering from a fatty liver disease due to our huge intake of sugar that we have in our lives. So if nothing else scares you about it, if your health will, then look for ways that you can cut sugar out. And look for the trifecta of health that we talk about. Eating fresh. If you eat fresh, then any sugar that you know is in your food would be something maybe you added a little bit for some seasoning. That's okay. That's not a problem with that sugar. The problem is the sugar that you're eating that's hidden. It's those candy bars. It's the candies. It's the potato chips. It's the processed foods. It's the fast foods. All those things that have sugars in them, which have all those hidden sugars where you might be thinking, I'm not eating sugar, when in reality, you are eating a lot of sugar. That is one reason why in my podcast and in my blogs, we talk a lot about sugar addiction, along with ultra-processed foods, because we're a great believer in this and we want to be able to educate people for them to understand there are dangers in this. I am not a medical professional. I don't pretend to be a medical professional. I am just an everyday person who has learned to know and understand on their own how dangerous things like sugar and ultra-processed foods can be. We hope that you'll join us in this journey of having a better health through the trifecta of health, which is eating foods that help make you full, eating fresh foods, and also getting out with fitness and exercise. Thank you so much for listening and being part of our community. We hope you'll subscribe and join with us as part of this community as we go together with our journey to have a healthier, better life. Thank you.